This is the Dacia Duster. It goes on sale here in the UK. Price from, as you can see, $8,995 from December. You'll actually be able to get it as a four-wheel drive version as well, from £11,000. That'll make it the cheapest way to go off-roading in the UK with a new car. So to see how good it is off-road, I've come here to Salisbury Plain to take it green laning. To make sure I didn't get lost, I was accompanied by Dale Wyatt from the Green Lane Association. He'd be leading the way in his bespoke off-roader, which looked quite a bit tougher than the Duster. This looks like a serious piece of kit. Can you tell me a bit about it?
Well, it's a bowler, an early bowler, and it's based on a Range Rover. So it's got a Range Rover chassis, Range Rover running gear, and a space frame. So the space frame goes all the way around, above and below the vehicle, and attaches on the chassis, goes around the front of the engine bay. The engine's been moved back about 8 inches for a better centre of gravity, and it's a very lightweight vehicle.
Sounds pretty tinny. But you've got serious ground clearance there, a lot more than I've got in my Duster.
We've got a lot more, yes, than you.
So what have you got? What kind of ground clearance is that?
I don't know, I've never measured it. But
it's above my knee.
It is, but I think the best thing to look at when you're looking at an off-road vehicle is the ground clearance under the axles.
Joining us green laning was Richard Armstrong in his Land Rover 90. And as I headed off, sandwiched between two hardcore 4x4s, I felt a little bit inferior in the Dacia. Fortunately, Dale was going to ease me into green laning gently with what appeared to be some grey laning.
Okay, so the first few miles we're going to be driving tracks like this, nice and easy stuff, but with plenty of potholes.
It's like my road back home, actually. Actually, those are proper potholes, aren't they? After a while, I got bored of dodging the potholes, and so just headed straight for them.
How's the car holding up? No bits falling off yet?
No, absolutely fine. One thing you have to remember about this car is that it was actually designed for Eastern Europe, and out there the roads are even worse than in Britain, and so this car is pretty much set up right from scratch to be able to cope with driving daily on stuff such as this. Pothole test successfully completed, Dale decided it was time for some rutted tracks. However, they would be trickier than normal because the recent heavy rains had left lots of standing water. Would the Duster be out of its depth? This is getting a bit more serious. I really don't want to hydraulic this engine. I don't even know what the wading depth is on this car. We're just going through. I think Dale knows what he's doing, so I'm in safe hands.
Okay.
That was quite deep.
Yeah, it's quite deep. There might be another deep one just here as well.
I was just saying to the camera, I have no idea what the wading depth is of this car. I haven't really prepared myself. I don't know the weight, I don't know the wading depth, I don't know the approach angles. Are those the kind of things you really need to know?
They are really. I mean, you do need, because cars like this are a little bit more sophisticated than what I'm driving.
Yeah.
So you kind of need to know what depth you should be going through. But I think that's all right. You're okay there.
After managing not to drown, we headed up onto some drier ground. And despite the fact that Duster doesn't have a low ratio gearbox, its short first gear, four-wheel drive lock and gutsy 1.5 litre diesel meant it was well equipped to haul itself up hills and banks. We followed the byway signs, which showed we were still, technically, on a road. But then, the signs started to get more ominous. Danger, impact area, keep out. And this is where the MOD, or the Army, come to test their weapons. So they let off a load of ordnance around here. We've got to be careful where we actually go, because if you end up in the wrong place, you might be used for target practice. Daisy, on the other hand, seemed not to care that a misplaced shell could turn her into minced beef. Here we go. This is proper. This is proper green laning now. You're going forward, hard right, through the woods. Yeah. Now you can't do this in your normal hatchback. Oh, God, I don't want to go that way. I'm steering left, the car's going right. Oh, bit of oppo lock at 3 miles an hour. So far, the Duster had coped admirably, but as we rounded a corner, Dale spotted a hazard which could scupper it. Ah! We're just going to have a look at something on foot because apparently I could get into a bit of trouble down here, so... Lily, you got wellies on? Come here. Let's see how deep this is. Come on. Come here, Lil.
Thank you.
Come on. Keep rolling.
You love me, don't you?
So, give me a hand. Dip your 1 foot in. Go on. Go on, wade through it. Go on. Go on, keep wading. Go on, keep wading. Look, you're fine.
Yeah.
That's how deep it is. Right then. Let's give this tricky bit a go. Yeah, I'm all over this. I'm even going to do it one-handed, so nonchalant. Oh, ooh. Oh God! Right, I'm going to have both hands back on the wheel. Come on! Power! And then I had to avoid crashing into the back of his truck. Probably shouldn't show off. That was one hazard successfully dealt with, despite the fact I was in a budget 4x4 on road tyres. It seemed like the Duster could cope with anything that Salisbury Plain could throw at it. Until... We've reached a bit of an obstacle that we're not entirely sure that I'm going to be able to get through. Now, the problem isn't the water. It's not that deep, as you can see, look, and it's quite firm underneath there. The problem is this raised central ridge, and there's a good chance that I'll just ground out on it. So better to be safe than sorry. We're going to do a bit of a detour and go round it. So with Richard navigating, I worked the Duster around the big tracks, which it turns out had been made by British Army tanks. Our detour meant we needed to find another way off Salisbury Plain, and our new route appeared to be blocked by a field of barley. Surely we couldn't drive straight through this. Actually, we could, because the farmer had illegally planted it over the public byway. But this is a road then. I'm actually driving on what is technically a road. That's right.
The road, and we're legally allowed to drive it.
Well, let's go drive all over it then. Dale led the way, using his Ordnance Survey GPS system to ensure we stayed on the byway. So, what we were doing was perfectly legal. What's more, we were claiming the road back for its rightful use. Eventually, we made it through the barley field and out to Salisbury Plain. So, how did the Duster fare overall as a budget green laner? Where I was sitting, it seemed to do pretty well off-road, but what do you think? I mean, you saw it in action. Really, honestly, what do you think?
Honestly, for what it is, it's a capable little car. It lacks ground clearance and axle travel as well, as we saw it waggle its wheels in the air a couple of times. So apart from that, not bad.
Not bad? Come on, Dale. The Dacia Duster may not be a proper hardcore off-roader, but it'd be tough enough for most people. And don't forget, it is the cheapest 4x4 you can buy.